Hey, good morning. So glad you guys are with me every morning. I like to give just a few minutes where I give you a thought for the day. That's why we call it Eric in the Morning. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been walking through the Sermon on the Mount. And today, I want to hit what I think is as important a beatitude as it gets. You know that the Beatitudes are found in Matthew chapter 5. And it's part of this sermon called the Sermon on the Mount. Well, verse 8 reads this way. Jesus was preaching to this big crowd and he says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God." And I was thinking about this idea of pure in heart because I think on the surface it's a little tricky, because pure in heart can be sort of one of those things where we think it's perfect in heart. Or oftentimes we've done this as Christians. We want so badly to look pure in heart that we do pure in heart things. Do you know what I mean? We sort of modify our behavior to such an extent that it looks like pure in heart. But this is such a key component to our faith. The understanding that everything that flows out of us, who we are, is like a heart thing, right? Like the essence of who we are, it flows out of this place. And this is what I know about how my spiritual life has worked so often when it comes to pure in heart is I want that really bad. I want to be the kind of person, right, that looks like Jesus. That's what this is really about. And so I try really hard, and ultimately I fail. And if I try so hard and fail enough, a lot of times I'll just quit. And then I'll pick it up and try, and then I'll fail, and then I quit, and then I try. And it's this vicious cycle. And it leads many of us to believe that maybe pure in heart isn't possible. Like maybe that's just not something that we can ever attain. But I love how Dallas Willard puts it. He talks about this idea of heart. And look, the goal was never for us to modify our behavior to such an extent that we looked like Jesus, that we pretended to be like him. The goal has always been that we become the kinds of people where Jesus stuff flows out of us, like out of our heart. And the question is this day, how do we become that kind of person? Because this is what Jesus is asking us to be a people who, out of the goodness of our heart, these good things flow. And I just want to say that in this season, it's such a perfect opportunity. Because what I'm learning about faith is that to become the kind of person Jesus had in mind, it's not about trying harder or faking it. It's about engaging in a specific training regimen. Yeah, that's it. Like being in God's Word regularly and praying regularly, like being with him. Our heart gets conditioned to be the right kind of heart if our heart is around Jesus a lot. And so this day, this is what I want to ask you to do, is what if today is a day where you just offer up your heart with God, whatever it looks like, even if you're sort of ashamed of it. You just dedicate yourself to that on a regular basis. You keep putting your heart close to God, and this is what I know, if you do, you will become a person who is pure in heart. Oh, grace and peace to you all this day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.